Everyone, thanks for joining us tonight on the SYA China Google Hangout. My name is Kate Martell. I'm the Admissions Marketing Manager here at SYA, and I have two guests with me this evening. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Anna Hughes. I'm an Assistant Director of Admissions at SYA Abroad, and I'm also an SYA Spain alum.
Great, thanks Anna.
Hi, and my name is Donna Fitzgerald. I'm an Assistant Director of Admissions at SYA Abroad, China Country Manager, and also the parent of an SYA China alum, class of 2012.
Great. Thanks, ladies, for joining us. We are still waiting for some SYA China alums to join us. So in the meantime, we're going to get started. As you're joining us, and if you have questions, if you want to put those in the chat box, and we will do our best to answer all of your questions. And also, if you want to introduce yourselves, so put down in the comments your name, maybe what school, and what state that you're from, so we can all start to get to know each other a little bit better. So while we're waiting for some of our SYA China alums to join us, we're going to ask some questions to Anna, who is an alum, and Donna, whose daughter attended SYA China. So Anna, if you want to tell us, because the feeling, no matter what country, I think, is the same or similar, how you felt when you were accepted to SYA.
Yeah, so I think primarily pure elation, definitely. And I think back in my day, we got letters in the mail, and I can't quite, I think my parents must have opened my letter, because I actually don't remember opening the letter. But I remember it kind of being a bit abstract prior to getting accepted, and then once I got the letter, I was just really psyched and really glad that I ended up going.
Excellent. And Donna, what about your daughter, Corinna? How did she feel? How did you feel as a parent?
Well, I was very excited for her, of course, a little bit anxious, but not really. She was so excited. This is something that she really wanted to do. So I just let her lead the whole process, and I just stood by and watched and supported her. But we were very, very excited for her. It was really transformative year, as it will be for all of you.
Great, thank you. So as you're joining us, if you have questions and you want to put those down at the bottom in the chat box, we will do our best to answer those tonight. So Anna, I know that for Spain, it's obviously a different feeling, but when you were leaving for Spain, and when you got there, and what was that sort of process like of arriving and meeting your classmates and the first couple of days? And I know that specifics-wise, Spain is a little bit different, obviously, but capturing those general feelings, how did you feel?
So I remember so I took the group flight. And I'm afraid of flying, so I was probably very quiet on the plane. But I remember landing and even though, arriving in a foreign country, it's jittery and you are nervous about arriving, but at the same time, I felt so comfortable upon arrival. And my classmates, everybody was so different, but we had this commonality, wanting to be in Spain for 9 months, and that really there are a few people that really want that, and I think that it was just a common bond right off the bat, and everybody was so friendly. And I remember arriving at school and the support of staff. It was just, even though I was nervous when I landed, it was immediately kind of resolved once I started getting to know people, and it didn't take long for me to become comfortable.
I think that also what I've witnessed working in admissions, and I also know from my daughter's experience, is that our students really start bonding as a class even before departure. You all kind of find each other out there in social media. You're tweeting at us and at each other, and find your Facebook groups and whatever. But then we have that departure meeting at the airport, and everyone really just bonds right away. And that stays true. They're there to support and help each other as everyone flexes in to another country and gets to know their host family. You have this network of really close friends that are like family members. Before
you're all going through the same thing at the same time. And it's amazing to go to departures and see the connections already because of social media. And I know a lot of people are following us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, so make sure you follow us on all of our social media channels because we're constantly posting out pictures from our current students and blog posts and all kinds of videos. We just, if you haven't seen it, there's a new video from SYA China up on our YouTube page. It's a day in the life. There were 4 or 5 students who got together and all talked about what their average day and what their experience has been like. So make sure you check out that new video on our YouTube channel. So your host family, Anna, our alums say that host families are one of the biggest, if not the biggest component of their school year abroad. So what was yours like?
Amazing. There's no other word. They were just the most supportive and kindest family I could have asked for. We're still very much in touch. Thank God for social media because that's how I speak to them now. But yeah, they really did make my experience, and it was kind of the smaller memories with them that made for just the greatest year. And so I'm really thankful to have had been placed with my host family.
What about Karina's? And I know she's been back.
She has been back 4 times since her SYA experience. So she has a wonderful connection with her host family. Every time she does go back, she gets in touch. Her Ba has WeChat on his phone, and she does too. I have it on my phone too, isn't it? And what he always says, oh, just, WeChat me when you're going to be in town, in the country, in Beijing. So, which is so casual, but she is there that often. And they have just this great relationship. I had the opportunity to meet them. I had a wonderful Peking duck dinner. Way too much food was ordered, but ate a couple of things that I don't know if I want to have anyway. But my daughter loved it. Yeah, my daughter loved it. She was it was. It's my favorite. Right? Everything. Yeah. So no, but just great people. Really lifelong relationships that our students, our alums have with their host family.
Jonna, while we're on the topic of host families, talking about logistics, I know a lot of people ask about when they're going to find out about their host family and sort of what that process is. Do you want to talk about the questionnaire?
Through the enrollment process, you'll be receiving lots of forms to fill out, and a couple of the pieces will be the host family survey. It's a questionnaire, and you are going to fill it out. One piece of it, your parents will fill out their own. And so what it's going to ask you are questions like, would you like to have a host sibling? This will be a time for you to point out, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. I might want to be, I'm allergic to cats or whatever. You can put down anything. I'd like to prefer to be closer to the school. I'm interested in this sport. Maybe if I'm, perhaps staying with the family that could help me in supporting my interests. So what we do, and then your parents back home will obviously have some input that they'd like to include on the form. So we take all of that information, and we have a host family coordinator abroad. Each one of our schools has a host family coordinator on staff, and we will take your wish list. We ask you to put them in order too, and we'll try to match you up with a host family as best we can to meet your needs and just your requests. So that all of you know, so that will happen. You'll be able to fill those forms out. As I said, through the enrollment process, you'll start receiving forms the enrollment forms start coming out in April. But you won't really find out about your host family until late summer. I'm going to say, just to, because some of that doesn't really, all come together until then. Yeah. So end of July, early August, but you will know who your host family is before you get on the plane. You'll have the opportunity to get in touch with them. You'll have their email address, and you might find another way to reach out to them as well. I remember we had their picture posted on the side of my fridge.
And they write a letter to their host family.
They do. Right? Thank you, Kate, because that's something I want to make sure that everyone remembers to do, because that really helps us out. Yeah. Very, very important. We ask you to write a letter to your host family, And we send those. We actually have you send it, not Kate, you out there, physically mail it to your host family. And so it's really important that it will actually go to the school, and the host family coordinator will present those to the host families and help match you up. So remember to be very thoughtful when writing those, and remember to write it. It's important.
Because they're just as excited to meet you as you are to meet them. They're just as excited, and they're just as excited to get to know you and find out more about who you are. And that letter is a great way for you to introduce yourself and kind of be your first impression. So if you're just joining us, we are still waiting for some of our SYA China alums to attend. Our alums, as you can imagine, are as busy as you are, finishing up their senior years, or they are freshmen in college. So while we are waiting, we're answering some of your questions if you want to put them down in the chat box, and also introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what school you attend and what state, so that we can all get to know each other. Well, we'll take a question from Christina really quick, because
Hi, Christina.
Hi, Christina. Extracurriculars, what does after school life look like? Donna, do you want to talk about China specifically? And then Anna, maybe you just want to throw out what you did in Spain.
Yeah, there are lots and lots of extracurriculars to choose from, and some of those are listed on our website. But with that said, if there's something that you're interested in doing and you don't see it listed on our website, be it a sport or any type of activity, an interest that you have, we will do our best to help you find that. And so, as we have host family coordinators at each school, also on our staff is our activities coordinator, and he helps plan all of our travel and also helps connect you with an interest. So say, for instance, you want to, I had someone interested in playing the piano, wanted to make sure that they could play in a pretty fancy venue that she asked me about, playing at the Beijing Conservatory. And so anyway, I put her in touch with Li Shuidong, and we're going to see if we can, find her a spot there. So there's all different in all the countries. We do our best to find that interest for you. But we do have lots and lots of activities in the morning and after school. Just so you know, you can participate in martial arts in the morning. We also have
calligraphy,
the Chinese corner, which is
bilingual corner.
Bilingual corner, where that meets in the morning, when you have the opportunity to sit down with some of the students at Beijing Normal University High School, number 2 students that actually live there on the campus, and you can chat with them and get to know them, use your language skills, your Chinese language skills, and it's a nice way to get to know some of the community too. But lots and lots of activities.
Yeah, there's actually a video on our YouTube channel too of Li Shuidong, who talks about an example weekly schedule, and I don't know if that's the exact schedule.
I was looking at that
currently, but an example of, Monday, here's these 5 options, Tuesday these options, Wednesday these options. So go and check that out. And
you can see him.
You can meet him and get a sense of the variety too, from tutoring English or teaching English to soccer, basketball.
Oh yeah, there's lots of opportunities to volunteer as well. And one example, Christina, I think we've already talked about this one, but my daughter did volunteer to teach English to migrant workers at a hotel right around the corner from the school. And she said it was a great experience. It actually really helped her with her Mandarin. Because you really have to kind of think outside of, what you're learning in class. You have to be able to relate and use different terminology and whatnot. And then when she went back to China as part of her gap year at Peking University, she was actually called by the same hotel chain and asked if she would they put her on the payroll. And she was, and she did it for them, a couple of years later. So,
interesting. What about you, Anna? Did you do something similar to what you were doing before you left or something totally different?
Not really. So I was really big into cooking classes when I got to Spain.
Yeah.
I love food. So that was something that I wanted to start doing once I was in Spain. I was a really picky eater before going to Spain, and so now I'll eat anything. And I think the cooking
Maybe
classes.
some of the weird stuff.
Yeah, probably. I
fungus.
was like, so the cooking classes kind of helped expand my horizons in that regard too. And then I did a lot of tutoring, but also tutoring for my benefit. So I would meet up every week with two Spaniards, and basically it's called an intercambio. So I would chat for an hour in English or in Spanish, and then they would chat for an hour in English. So it was a nice way to kind of, for us both to benefit from the dual languages. And then me and my host brother had a little running club, but it was just
I love that.
small club.
Small club.
Christina, I hope that answers your question. If you have more questions, please feel free, or if there's a specific activity that you want to find out about, you can also contact Donna and she can find out for you. Especially if there's a precedent of students doing that particular activity in China. Let's talk about classes for a little bit. Anna, do you want to talk in general terms about if the classes were different or similar to what you had experienced at home, and kind of what your schedule was like, knowing that the SYA China schedule is different?
Sure. So I found the classes to be very different. I mean, not very different. There was still like the general theme of history and language and all that, but it was kind of more dynamic because my history class was cinema. So it was Spanish history through the lens of cinema, and something that I had never even dreamed of taking at my home school, and really got me much more interested in the history of Spain because cinema was something that I really liked. So in that regard, it was different, even though the general class was similar. And then instead of Spanish literature class, I did theater. So we would read plays, and we actually did two works of art the first semester and the second semester. So it was definitely different, but much more dynamic, I think.
Donna, do you want to talk a little bit, if you can recall any of Karina's experience and or specifically about class options in China for next year?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think specifically about what we're going to be.
And I'll piggyback on that,
Yeah.
not to ruin your life, but we also have a question about language. If you're a beginner, what should we recommend doing? Anything ahead of time to prepare?
Okay, so you do not feel that you need to prepare. And I know that sounds, crazy, but you can come to SYA China as a beginner and do not feel that you're going to be behind in any way. Actually, our teachers love it. They get to start from scratch with you and teach them just the way that,
right.
So, but sure, if there's a summer, course or something that's an opportunity that you would like to, to take part in, you could do that, but you don't need to. There are lots of language camps out there and whatnot. You really don't need to do that. But, sometimes I would say even watching videos, or
Sure.
watching China, you kind of get a feel and you start to hear some of the language, and then things start to sound familiar to you. And, when you're in China, it makes it just that much easier, familiarize yourself with the language, with the sounds and tones.
Okay. I'm going to ask a different question that I don't know the answer to, but so did you go as a junior or a senior?
I went as a junior.
You went as a junior. Do you want to talk a little bit about the college process? Because we have a question about the college process with seniors, so maybe you guys want to pick up on that one.
Yeah.
So I went as a junior, and basically, so I took the PSATs and SATs over in Spain, but also our college counselor, Paulina, who's still there, basically sat down with us few times in the first semester and just basically talked about the schools that I was interested in applying to, Definitely different as a junior because there's not the actual process of applying to college, but I certainly got like a short list of the schools that I was applying to, and she helped out kind of figure where would be the best fit. So it definitely gave me a breezier senior year because I knew where I was going to apply.
Mhm.
Okay. In terms of seniors, Donna?
If someone is going as a senior, yeah, we'd like to, we recommend that you have all your ducks in a row. You know, really the only thing that you can't do while you're abroad is visit a campus. So I suggest that you do that, you know, before you leave in the summer. Try to visit as many campuses as you can. I mean, and just kind of know what your top schools are. And you can have, you know, maybe even start to write your essays, take a look at the applications that you're going to, for the schools you're going to be applying to. And as Anna mentioned, you're gonna have support abroad. We have college counselors on staff that keep in touch with your college counselor or advisor back at your home school. So we work in conjunction with them to keep you on track. But as I said, if you're gonna go your senior year, you know, try to have, you know,
Your visits in.
Yeah, your
definitely.
visits in, and maybe take a look at those applications, so that they're, you know, that you're able to
wind up
complete
and
them
ready to
and
go.
wind up and ready to go.
But you can take the PSAT, the SAT, the APs, all
The
over at SYA
APs,
China
yes,
in case
yes,
you still need
Yes,
to.
you can absolutely do that. And we do, for juniors wondering about that too, we do have SAT prep. I do want to let everyone know, just you cannot take the ACT in China. We are not allowed to administer it there. So, but you can take the SATs, not the AP, and we do have prep for all of them.
For all of them. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Chase. Thanks for introducing yourself. For anyone that's just joining us, if you want to introduce yourself in the comments, and
feel like
we'll
I know
also
now.
answer any questions that you might have. We just have a few more minutes, so make sure you get those questions in if there's anything that you've been thinking about or that you'd like to ask. So, Donna, do you want to talk a little bit about travel at SYA China and Winterim and kind of what that is like and why that's unique?
Yeah, so our students, a lot of our travel, some of the bigger trips are going to happen during the second semester. We want you to have feel as comfortable in the language as possible. So after about a couple of months into the school year, we do allow our students to travel independently. So that's just the one way of traveling. And so what that means is, we'll just cover that and get that,
Yeah.
is that you do have to have the approval of this big checklist of your parents, your actual parents, the resident director. You have to be in good academic standing. And then what you do is you put together an itinerary. We take a look at that. The resident director approves it, and make sure that you hotels, you know how you're going to get to and from, and have all your travel arranged. And then we do allow you to travel with one or two other students. You can't take a party on the road, you know, so not too many, but we do allow you to travel with a friend or two independently. And then we will take some local trips in the city, you know, sometimes in the afternoon, even after class. But then we will start the larger trip. So we have 2 weeks off, approximately 2 weeks off after the holiday. We have a party. This year fell on December 19th, I think. And so what we have is, if your parents are able to come visit you, they can come and attend this holiday party. Our host families are invited. All the faculty and staff are there. And then we go on a break. And so even if your family's not coming to visit, know that you always have a place. Your host family is responsible for you the entire school 9 months that you're there. So you have a place to be. My daughter, even she traveled with their host family to, they took little getaways. They went to a resort at one point in the mountains. She went to a family wedding. So you're a member of their family, and they're going to include you in everything that they're doing. And then in the second semester, we start to take some longer trips, and we'll go to Yunnan, and we're gone for a couple weeks at a time, and to some more. We do some remote travel together as a class.
Right, and that's the beauty of it, is that you're visiting places that the average tourist doesn't go to. You'll see all the things, like you'll go to the Great Wall and to the Forbidden City and all those things as a group, but on that winterim you are able to explore places that the average tourist doesn't just kind of swing by on their way through. And really immerse yourself into a different aspect of Chinese culture.
Yeah.
Right.
Going to the Great Wall is kind of like going in the backyard at a certain point, because our students just, oh my gosh, and actually SYA will take you to some sections of the Great Wall too that you're not going to see a whole group of tourists. We're going to take you to some really cool spots.
Yeah.
Along the
so
wall.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap things up in a few minutes. So if you have any questions, or if you haven't introduced yourself, please put those down in the chat box. Anna, do you have advice for incoming students to SYA China? What did you wish you would have known ahead of time, or now that you've gone through SYA, and looking back and kind of jealous about this new crop of students coming in, getting to live this? What's your piece of advice or suggestions? Or
I think my biggest piece of advice is just not to take for granted a single second, because it does pass really quickly. And I think that if you're just able to and this is probably easier said than done, but arriving and just in that moment for the entire year, just taking advantage of everything that SYA has to offer you, that is my biggest piece of advice. And I hope words to live by while you're there too.
Yeah, don't waste it, for sure. What about you, Donna? Any thoughts or suggestions? Or
I'm just so excited for all of you. I can't tell you, because you're about to embark on this amazing adventure, and I've seen what this experience has offered my daughter and what she's gone on to do as a result of SYA and her experience there. And as I said, just really, really excited for all of you. You're in store for just an incredible.
I know.
It's just
it's so hard to put it into words too, because I mean, for anyone that's done it or seen it or studied abroad, you know how exciting it is. So we're all very excited for you. Congratulations.
And if anyone has any questions, as I said, we think of questions afterwards, and or anything happens to come up. As I said, Donna Fitzgerald, I'm sure you've seen my name come through in lots of different ways, in correspondence and whatnot. But feel free to be in touch, dfitzgerald@sya.org, and email me, give me a call here in the office. I'm happy to chat, and I'm happy to chat with any of your parents as well if they have questions. So,
and we'll put Donna's contact information down in the comments underneath this video as well. And also, I'll just say, if you're not following us on Instagram or Twitter, if you haven't liked us on Facebook, and also check out our YouTube channel. We have lots of videos from past students, and check out our blogs too. Yeah, there are some really good blogs up from SYA China this year. Lots of photos. We have some great photographers this year who are just posting these amazing things on our blog. And they, I don't believe they have access to Instagram over there, so you have to have a VPN. So that's why they're sending us all of their photos, and we're posting them up on our blog. So go check out our blog. We're posting them on our Instagram too. So check those out. And congratulations, everyone. We're so excited for you and joining the class of SYA China 2017. Thanks, everyone. We hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions, we'll definitely put Donna's information down below this video.
And be in touch.
And be in touch, absolutely.
Back to you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.